Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is another anime review. It's an anime I finished recently, another one that I've been meaning to watch for a while now. It's a... how many episodes? 13 episode anime series known as Myself Yourself. It's a romantic comedy anime, so you might be saying, not going to be that great, is it? Actually, it was surprisingly good. I loved Myself Yourself. And there's many reasons for this, okay? Now, it does have a pretty generic setup, okay? But how it plays out and the events that takes place before the climax are actually very unique. And I really only have one major complaint about it. The ending. The absolute ending. Which I'll talk about later on in this review. Anyways, though. Myself Yourself is at the beginning a very generic slice of life comedy series. You have our main male character, Sana Hidaka, who used to live in Sakura no Mori, and he and his parents moved somewhere else. I don't think it's specifically stated where that was at, leaving his friends behind. They were the other main male characters, Shusuke Wakatsuki, and the main female characters, the main female character, Nanaka Yatsuhiro, and then the other ones, Aoi Oribe Shuri Wakatsuki, Shusuke's younger sister, and Hinako Mochida. Well, Hinako wasn't one of their childhood friends. She's a 10-year-old girl going on an 11-year-old girl who they met in the series. But Shusuke, Nanaka, Aoi, and Shuri were his childhood friends who he had to leave behind. And it's implied that Nanaka actually had feelings for him back in the day, and the two of them were apparently even closer than the others were with him. And they actually promised him to get a hold of each other frequently, however they could, by writing. And Nanaka wrote all the time. Apparently he never acquired the letters, but he never wrote, and so Nanaka basically thought that he forgot about her. Okay, so he ends up coming back, and Nanaka's completely transformed. All the others, I guess, are pretty well the same, but Nanaka's completely transformed into a different person now, and we learn over the course of the series exactly why. Now here comes the spoiler part. And the similarities to other romantic comedy anime that I've seen ends right here, okay? Let's talk about Nanaka for a sec. Nanaka, sometime after Sana moved, there was a fire at her apartment. And we don't know exactly why at first. But there's a fire at her apartment. She takes her violin, because she was really good with the violin back in the day, and jumps out the third-story window, lands, breaks her legs, but she lives, obviously. But the trauma caused her to forget much of her memories, and of course she was blamed for it, okay? And we learn later on that it was the cause of her father, who we learn actually wasn't her father. Her father's best friend was actually her biological father. And because of that, he actually killed the mother and burnt the house down, thereby killing himself, and almost killing Nanaka herself. That was sometime after her biological father, who she was really close with, but never knew that was her biological father, already passed away, due to, I forget what the actual cause was. Alright. And that was basically the start of her personality change, because everyone believed that it was, or most people believed that it was her. One of the only people that didn't was actually her uncle. Okay. And, because she was the only one that survived, basically. And she had enough time to take her violin out, so naturally almost everyone thought that it was her. And they also memory loss, too, which she doesn't actually get her memories back until literally the very end of episode 12, going into episode 13. Okay. And not to mention the simple fact that Sana never contacted her, so Sana couldn't have known that she was in so much trouble and he wasn't there for her, which when she tells him that proves that she's always had romantic feelings for him. Basically caused her personality change, although she does gradually develop back into her old self, at least close to it, over the course of the series. That alone separates this anime from other romantic comedies. Okay. That alone. But there's also the simple fact that Nanaka, in the final episode, actually tries to commit suicide because she got her memories back. Okay? But wait, there's more. There's also the side story with the Wakatsuki twins, Shusuke and Shuri, whom I have to defend. Okay. I really have to defend them because I think they get way too much hate. Their story is that their biological mother died sometime before the start of the series, and their father ended up marrying this. Their father's apparently really wealthy, and their father marries this other chick who they believe that two things: one, that she's only marrying him for the money, and two, that he only married her for the sex. After a while, I believe them. Okay, she's kind of a two-timing cunt, for lack of a better term. And all right, and this is a Japanese family, so obviously they just have to deal with it. But it's tormenting them inside, essentially. And there's two more things to this. Their father's also heading a construction team, basically, that's going to tear down their favorite place as children, which means so much to them, which you may not think means anything, but I honestly think that their father at least should have taken their feelings into consideration, okay. But, they're children. What the fuck do they know, right? I'm 20 and I'm doing this, okay? I really hate it when people say that. And that wasn't specifically stated, but that's basically what their father was getting at, okay? Again, I'm 20 and I'm doing this. Anyways, though. And then if that wasn't enough, because of a couple of incidents caused by Shuri's supposed best friend, who turned out to be a two-timing cunt, Shuri's father was going to send Shuri to a private boarding school without her brother. Basically, it was because of an accident which almost caused Shuri's death, but her best friend jumped in there to save. Supposed best friend jumped in there to save her, which I guess that's kind of redeeming, but also that was the final nail in the coffin that caused him to do this. But the other one that happened before that was a note that was sent to the school by an anonymous sender, which stated that the two of them were spotted at a love hotel, the two siblings, when in fact they weren't, and that was sent by Shuri's supposed best friend, because she was jealous that Shuri was so popular and whatnot, because she wanted Shuri all for herself, blah blah blah. Okay, and so that caused the two of them to run away. After the 10-year time skip at the end, I think they appear to be back, at least visiting. I'm not sure if they were going to stay or not, but whatever. I have problems with the ending. I'll get to them later. But I also really like that too, because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just another, incest thing. And you could really say that, but not really, because it's left open to interpretation. This type of left open to interpretation I like, because, I guess some people, a lot of people say they were in love. I take it more along the lines of they were just two siblings who were really close, which apparently their stepmother had an issue with this, but why the fuck would you have an issue with two siblings being close? Again, siblings aren't usually that close. Actually, I think they've done studies and it shows that twins are actually closer than normal, usually tend to be closer than normal siblings do. But anyways, though, they were just close and they wanted to be there for each other no matter what. That's perfectly fine, and I thought they did that very well. Like that ending scene with the two of them on the train leaving together, and fucking Sana running after the train yelling at them. Okay, but the train was too loud so they couldn't hear him, but Shusuke knew immediately what he was saying, because when Sana left all those, 5 years ago, Shusuke did the same fucking thing, so he knew what he was so Shusuke knew what Sana was saying, was amazingly well done. I loved it. So yeah, I did want to talk about that real quick, and defend that scene because a lot of people like to hate on that scene or that subplot. All right. So this series does so many things right, and it covers so many more things that most romantic comedies don't cover, or at least don't go into depth with, like murder, like the thought of abortion, like arson, like psychological trauma, like memory loss caused by the psychological trauma, like suicide of the, like an almost suicide of the main fucking female character, like abusive families, like kids running away from home. Name another fucking romantic comedy series that deals with all of this and does it so well. I can't think of one. I really can't. Okay? I mean, maybe there's one out there. I've never seen it. I would love to see it and see if it's done as well as this. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to do it as well as this. I just haven't seen one that did it, period, let alone as well as this. The only issue that I have with the plot is the ending. Now, here we go. The ending wasn't the worst ending I've ever seen in anime, not even fucking close, but I was very disappointed with it. Basically, in the final episode, right after Nanaka almost commits suicide because she got her memories back. First off, the scene where Nanaka and Sana were talking after that was actually really well done because we learned that Sana, because of bullies and lots of other stuff, you know, extreme depression and stuff, almost committed suicide himself shortly before he came back. In the same way, okay? I'm not sure if that's a popular way to commit suicide in Japan or not, but whatever. I do know that Japan does have a lot of suicides, though. So they're actually covering something that's very realistic in terms of the Japanese. Japan has a lot of teen suicides. Okay, fun fact. Anyways, though, I thought that scene was really good. Right after that, immediately after that fucking scene, we get a 10-year time skip. And everything's perfectly fine. Why? Am I the only one who would have loved to know more about what happened in between all that? I mean, they didn't have to do every single fucking day for the next 10 years. Okay? But the least that they could have done is, like, showed a lot of key moments within the next 10 years. Even if they had to double the series to 26 episodes, I would have been fine with that. I would have probably still been watching it right now, but I would have been fine with that. The ending there was so fucking rushed, because we get to the end, it's 10 years later, so our main characters are, like, in their late 20s now. And we do get a little bit with Sana, like, giving Nanaka a ring. I'm not sure if it's like a friendship ring or it's a marriage proposal. Or an engagement ring, or a marriage proposal. I would assume that it's a marriage proposal. But we don't get to see if she accepts it or not either. Which I thought was kind of bullshit. But finally, the main male character ends up with the main female, or with the childhood friend in the end. Yes! The first, and probably, I don't know if it's only, but the first romantic comedy anime I've ever seen where that actually happened. Because, Shuri, childhood friend, but not really interested in him. Aoi was more of like a motherly figure to him, or maybe older sister figure, whatever. Not really a love interest. And of course there was Shuri's, supposed best friend, who shows some interest in him at first, but after the revelations on her, you really think people would have been happy seeing her end up with fucking Sana? No. Fuck no. It was kind of cool. I just would kind of wish we would have got to see if she actually accepted it or not. I assume that she did, but it would kind of have been nice to get some clarity on that. Some absolute clarity on that, okay? And there was then Nanaka performing a show with her violin, or a song with her violin, which I assume was the same song that as children she had never completed, and even after 5 years we didn't get to see her play it, and Now, I'm assuming this is finally the completed version after 15 years. Okay. So, yeah. But anyways, though. And then that's pretty much it. There's, like, some glimpses of who I think is Shuri and Shusuke coming back. I'm not too sure on that, but I'm pretty sure they are back. I think. I could be wrong about that, though, but whatever. Okay. And everyone seems to be happy, but my issue with the ending, as I said before, was that we don't really get to see what happens in between. It's like, it's another one of those bullshit left open to interpretation endings, which as I've said many times before, and I'll continue to shove it down people's throats, is the type of ending which is created by people who are incapable or too lazy, or a combination of both perhaps, to come up with good fucking endings. That's what it is, period. Okay? So that being said, despite that ending, I love this series. It does so much different from the standard romantic comedy anime. Alright, like it really does. It has great characters and great character development. Now, the animation also is worth mentioning. It's another one of those where it's a mixed bag. It's not outstanding, but it does have those few tiny moments of greatness. The art, not really worth mentioning. The music's really fucking good, especially the violin segments. They are beautiful. Yeah, I think that's it. So, great characters, great character development, great music, pretty decent animation, a great plot, and the only major complaint I can think of about it for me personally is the ending. That's really kind of sad, and that's the only major thing for me to complain about. So, oh really? Studio Dokukobo. Huh. I've seen anime from them before. I think... Was Love Lab a Studio Dokukobo production? Yep, Love Lab. God, I love the Love Lab so much. It was one of my favorite anime of 2013. One of my favorite anime of the summer 2013 as well. So... But anyways, I think we're going to wrap up this review, though. Excuse me. Great anime, although major complaints with the ending, and the animation isn't outstanding, but it's still good. Anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. These guys, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.